Welcome back. With just 6 days until the Iowa caucuses, the Democrats running for president woke up to the news today that the nomination race in the Hawkeye State appears to be a dead heat. According to the Los Angeles Times Bloomberg poll, Hillary Clinton is the choice of 29% of likely caucus goers, Obama 26%, and John Edwards 25%. The latest numbers have added even more drama to the stretch run in Iowa, in part because whoever wins Iowa will almost certainly get a bounce in the New Hampshire primaries 5 days later. And the latest poll from New Hampshire shows Obama at 32%, Clinton 30%, and John Edwards at 18%. Despite all the attention and intrigue over Obama and Clinton, clearly John Edwards remains in the hunt for the nomination. So we go first to the Edwards campaign. Tricia Miller of NBC News and the National Journal is covering John Edwards for us, and she joins us by phone in Tipton, Iowa. And Tricia, we've heard a lot about John Edwards talking about wanting to fight to change things and trying to draw a contrast with Obama, who Edwards says will simply negotiate. How did that message play out from Edwards today?
Well, Edwards, as you know, continues to talk about the need to fight with Washington lobbyists and those special interests. He emphasizes that the fight is not with other politicians or with Congress, but with the special interests that are so prevalent in Washington. And that's something, I've been on the trail for 4 months, and that's something that he's been saying all along. But lately it's become a dig at Obama, where he talks about how this isn't something that's academic, but it's something that's very practical.
Tell me a little bit about the crowds and how Edwards is being received. Are you noticing that the crowds are getting bigger, more enthusiastic, or are things staying about the same?
Yeah, the crowds are actually getting bigger, but when we're traveling with just one campaign, it's hard to tell if the crowds are getting bigger because people are more enthusiastic about Edwards or if they're just more enthusiastic about the caucus in general. But they are more enthusiastic about everything he's saying. He has a part at the end of his speech now that's been there for about a couple of weeks, where he talks about America rising, and he talks about triumphing over people who don't have health care and people who are living on the streets, and that almost always gets a standing ovation at the end of the speech.
Tricia Miller covering the Edwards campaign. Tricia, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Athena Jones of NBC News and the National Journal has been covering the Clinton campaign for us. She joins us live by phone from the press bus heading from Webster City to Mason City, Iowa. And Athena, give us a sense about the tone today from the Clinton campaign.
Well, the tone today remains her making her closing argument, combining change, experience, and also a little bit of her softer side. She added today a little bit of talk about the foreign policy credentials, and again spent several minutes in her first speech here in Story City talking about what happened in Pakistan with Senator Bhutto, and about saying, if you want to know the changes I'll make, look at the changes I've made. Goes on to list several things she's done around the world to sort of show her experience and also her foreign policy credentials.
And Athena, I know that the Clinton campaign has been trying to get the media to focus a lot on the Obama health care plan and that problems that the Clinton campaign surrogates have with it. Have we heard any of that sort of criticism, though, from Hillary Clinton herself today?
Not much. She has a part in her speech that I didn't actually hear it today, but she says on a regular basis, who should I leave out of a health care plan? Should I leave out this nurse I met in Waterloo? Should I leave out this couple that I met in another city? She says she emphasizes that some plans go out. She doesn't call him by name, but she emphasizes some should leave them out, and that her plan would not do that.
And Athena, real quickly, 10 seconds, what's the mood, what's the atmosphere been like as far as the crowds covering Clinton?
The crowds are enthusiastic. It's hard to tell if they're
Okay, Athena Jones covering the Clinton campaign. Athena, thank you very much. Before we get to our reporter covering the Obama campaign, I want to play a clip that she first identified for us this afternoon. At a speech today in Iowa, Obama cranked up his rhetoric in a reference to Hillary Clinton. Watch.
My experience is grounded in understanding how the world sees America. From living overseas and traveling overseas and having family beyond our shores. And it's that experience, that understanding, not just of what world leaders I went and talked to in the ambassador's house, who I had tea with, but understanding the lives of people like my grandmother who lives in a tiny village in Africa.
Having tea with the ambassadors, Ashwini Abarajan was there today when Obama delivered those remarks. She joins us by phone from Clinton, Iowa. And Ashwini, did Obama mean to say that Hillary Clinton's foreign policy experience is limited to simply drinking tea with foreign dignitaries?
It certainly sounded like it, David. He has been cranking up the rhetoric all day. If the conventional wisdom says that you should rise above the fray in the last week before the caucus, Obama isn't taking it. He went after Clinton today. He went after John Edwards. And the comment may have been made in jest because the crowd was large and he was playing to it. But he made the comment, and it was belittling her foreign policy experience.
And Ashwina, how is the Obama crowd that is going to these events, how are they receiving Obama right now? And was there laughter, chuckles when Obama made the tea reference?
The tea reference was taken pretty seriously. The crowd didn't burst laughing like they do times when he talks about change in Washington. But the crowd was large. It was enthusiastic. It was for him 900 people there. You could barely breathe in this gymnasium. So people were tuned in. There were a lot of undecideds. And, you know, all these attacks are unnamed. And you would think that the audience gets who he's talking about. But, earlier in the day, he talked about bankruptcy bills. Do they know that it was reference to John Edwards? I'm not sure.
And Ashwini, any changes in the Obama schedule for the next couple of days that might reflect any sort of nervousness they have about how this is going?
No, I don't. There aren't any changes. It's just jam-packed. And I think that more than anything, that they sense the urgency of the moment that he's talking about, that it's now or never for them. They need to make the closing argument. They need to draw the differences because this is their chance. They have to win Iowa.
Ashwini Abarajan covering the Obama campaign. Thanks, Ashwini. We appreciate it very much. Thanks also to Athena Jones and also Tricia Miller.